What is up, bros and hoes? Kamusta mga primo, tol mga besh mga bay mga kabet? This is part 2 of my review of the Backrooms. I'm gonna kind of just run through some things that are kind of going on in my head, so I don't make the video too long. I am not going to heavily edit this video because I wanted to make sure that I upload that the next day as I promised. But let's get into the notes. It's kind of funny because this video is gonna be a little bit more trashy, but on my nicer camera, so I'm gonna be kind of just running through things, and this is gonna be a little bit lower effort. But I hope you appreciate the higher quality of what is being filmed, and that I can't smear the lens because it's literally gonna damage it if I do. First and foremost, if you guys are not familiar, liminal spaces are defined as a transitional or waiting space between two stages of time or states of being. And so a lot of people argue online what that means specifically, or if this, that, or the third is actually considered a liminal space. And why this matters to the Backrooms is a lot of things from both of these kind of are one and the same. They started trending at the same time, and if you're into the Backrooms, very likely, or into the concept in art as liminal spaces, I'll dive into that more on a different episode of this vlog. They're kind of joined at the hip. Some of these spaces might be empty, eerie, such as hallways or airports at night. I don't know if you've ever visited your school from, you know, the past at like summertime. It's very kind of like eerie, but it's like kind of cool that you're like familiar in the space and stuff like that. That is an example of a liminal space. So, you know, there's sometimes nostalgia involved. A lot of abandoned spaces can be considered liminal, such as abandoned malls, and a lot of these places are kind of like stuck in time. So especially if you see a lot of places where people are commenting on TikTok, oh, that place looks like 80s architecture or something like that. I've been seeing a lot of you know, layover hotels being posted on TikTok, and people talking about how they are just some beautiful liminal spaces, and I agree, they're absolutely gorgeous. I don't totally understand the concept of canopsia, but I heard that had something to do with it. Anemoia is the idea of being nostalgic for something that you never actually experienced, so that might be kind of along the same line. And yeah, let's just jump to the next segment of the video because I'm gonna take too long if I don't watch myself. So nowadays, you guys, if you're not familiar with the ideas of kind of late stage capitalism, this is what we're living in right now. There's more inflation than ever before. There's a whole lot of kind of social distrust. There's social unrest. We're becoming more and more divided. No matter what country you live in, everything is just kind of becoming hard to imagine, hard to live in, stuff like that. And it's all because of a lot of the things that happen within a capitalist society. We're living in a bit of a dystopia. And so for a lot of people, they kind of find comfort in drawings, photographs, movies, if you will, about these kinds of places that kind of feel like what we once knew, but it's kind of weird now. So in the movie you notice that and spoiler alert again, basically how the Backrooms works is that it tries to remember you, but the more it remembers you, the more it kind of forgets. And that's the same way that we operate as human beings. You know, we try to even like, I'm not gonna get too political right here, but a lot of people go with the slogan, you know, make America great again or something like that, trying to remember a time that they don't even remember that well. If I'm gonna be so straight to the point, like, it probably wasn't as great as you think. There were trade-offs, and there were things that were worse, and there's things that are worse now. There are things that are better now, but there were definitely trade-offs. And so as a society, I think that we are all the Backrooms. You know, we have this kind of thing that we try to do where we try to kind of relive the past in a way, because hindsight is 20/20. It's really nice being able to look back and going, wow, I kind of understand what was going on back then, and I missed the time when I was kind of more in the moment, despite the fact that you could literally be in the moment right now, and that is a decision, and it's really up to you if you find a way or not to be living in the present. And that can be difficult because we've got things happening where, like, Sony is trying to get rid of physical media. So the whole idea of buying something and owning it, even that is disappearing, right? Like, there's all kinds of streaming services online where you not only pay for the monthly service, but you buy it so you can be able to actually keep that. But the truth is that those are eventually going to deteriorate too. And I don't know what the solution is here. If I find that out, I'll make sure to share that. I'll make sure to share that with you guys as well. But the point is, it's not easy, and it's important to recognize that. Now, to close this video off, I'm going to quickly touch on how this connects to the Philippines, because my channel is largely going to be making content in the Philippines, and while I really enjoy my time there, there's also some things that are important to recognize, that the entire country is like a liminal space. I mean, the whole world is kind of a liminal space in a way, but I'm going to talk about some ways that I think that the Philippines specifically is a liminal space. So number one, we've got a little bit of a colonial mentality. You know, anyone can relate to someone or some idea that has some kind of identity issues, right? Because they have been colonized so many times, and so you will see remnants of that no matter where you go. There's going to be all kinds of, like just today I was, you know, talking to somebody talking about how there's a place called Walter Mart. Now if you're from the States, or if you're aware of what we have going on in the States, probably the biggest store that anyone goes to at all is called Walmart. So in my mind, for somewhere to be called Walter Mart sounds like a direct copy, or like the Backrooms decided to, you know, regenerate what it remembered from memory and then totally mess it up. But that's a real store. So you go from Walmart to Walter Mart. And the Philippines was colonized by America from about a century ago to, you know, the end of World War II. Eventually they got their independence a little bit after that. I'm no history major, so don't quote me on that. You are definitely going to see a whole lot of Japanese influence. You're going to see a whole lot of, obviously, American influence. You know, English is the second official language, and while sometimes you'll meet people that have more so broken English, generally speaking, you can get by in the country if all you speak is English. Don't do that. Looking at you, guy, don't do that. If you're gonna live somewhere, you need to learn to assimilate and learn the local language. So learn some Filipino, you lazy sack of crap. But you can probably get by, and many have, by only understanding English until the day that you die. The place has a Latino soul to it, and a lot of people have debated whether or not Filipinos can be considered Latino, but there is that Spanish influence. There are cities like Vigan where you can still see the architecture is very, you know, Spain inspired. Inframuros, I believe, I was told that it was designed to kind of replicate what's going on in Madrid. So there's all these kind of things that are very like Spain inspired, and that's what's going to happen when you're colonized by a country for 300 years. And then we've got the concept of Taglish. The Filipino language has become a little bit of a phenomenon because once they got their independence from Spain, they still decided to keep their own language, which is different from a lot of other Latin countries. So while this language has evolved to adapt to other languages, that's the kind of interesting part, because it kind of absorbed English. Like technically I'm still speaking Filipino right now because I'm speaking English, and every English word is recognized as a Filipino word as part of the language. Tagalog, if I were to speak pure Tagalog, then that's technically speaking Tagalog. If I'm speaking English and Tagalog mixed, about a 90 to 10% ratio, then that would be what's considered Filipino, because it has that influence from both. And a lot of the words that are even part of what's considered pure Tagalog are Spanish. So you got a whole lot of identity issues even with the language. And the same thing goes for Cebuano, Chavacano, Ilocano. Shout out to all the other dialects and languages of the country, of the archipelago that is the Philippines. And then you got places like BGC or other places that are designed to be very foreign friendly, but it almost feels like you're in Europe. Just all the people are still Filipino, minus the visitors. So it's like, I would say it's like 75%, 25%. 75% travelers or local, like people that have been living there for a minute, that have like made it their home, or, you know, that what have you, foreigners. And then the rest are like Filipinos, but like the vibe of the place itself still feels very like Europe, I would say, or like a more developed US city. Is literally designed to keep floods out and stuff like that. So a city in the Philippines that is designed to survive the Philippines, which is crazy because you walk right outside and you've got barangays, and if you're not familiar, those are like villages. So it's kind of interesting. But to kind of close off this video, make sure you go see the Backrooms. It's a great movie. But if you're into these kind of like deep thoughts, then I would highly recommend it. Make sure to subscribe and like for more. I'll be doing more kind of film related content and trying to tie it together with the Philippines if possible. I did a Spider-Man video recently reacting to the trailer, so that had kind of not a whole lot to do with the Philippines per se. But I do travel content as well, so make sure to stay tuned and make sure to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications early and see my videos when they come out and all that good stuff. But anyway, I love you guys. Go be the change you want in the world. Go make good financial decisions. I love you. Babush.